Hello everyone, Misbeat here with another video. So as I said last time, now I want to delve into how free to play Battlefield Heroes actually was. I'm expecting this to be a shorter video for obvious reasons, but some of these might surprise you and you may not even remember a few of the free to play aspects the game had over the years. Firstly, I want to thank you all for 4K subscribers. It's a huge milestone for me and means a lot, so whether you've been subscribed for years, back on when I was doing videos on the original game, or more recently, I really appreciate it, so thanks. So to start with, there were various codes given out to players over the years which included funds, clothing items, XP boosts and more, even dating as far back as 2009, for example Halloween that year. Codes normally tied in with events, as well as anniversaries or milestones like a certain amount of registered users on the game. There were exclusive hats you could get for registering Battlefield 1943 on console. These were pretty rare to see, but did come back in 2012 through some limited time drops you could buy, but there was a really low drop rate as well. Other exclusive items given out around this time were the closed beta medals, which never returned and were some of the most special and exclusive items in the game. In 2010, there was a campaign with the EA Gun Club, a website that basically allowed you to get rewards for certain EA games, and in BFH you could get 700 battle funds for signing up. There was a promotion that gave you outfits hidden on bottles of Dr. Pepper. These sets were exclusive for a while but were later sold in the hot deals. I understand why though, since the promotion was only for some countries and it wasn't really fair for all players to get them. Speaking of that, there were some gaming magazines in the UK and Germany which gave codes for the Rocket Pack sets over the course of a few issues, as well as battle funds. You could get either the National or Royal set depending on which magazine you had. Once again, these were sold in the store sometime after, with the release of Midnight Mayhem and the Hero of the Hill mode, also known as the Rocket mode. Throughout 2011 we got free shirts with promos including Minecraft and other Battlefield games, beta medals for Battlefield Play for free testers, as well as free daily drops to get unlimited items from the bento boxes and the Halloween trick or treats near the end of that year, as well as a challenge to get wins on the new map, at the time Perilous Port, for a free shirt as well. Free shirts continued over the years just like codes did as well. In the same year we also saw some weapon challenges where if you got a certain amount of kills you'd get a special version of the weapon, such as the golden machetes and the Azure and Crimson Dragon fires. You could have basically rented a weapon to then grind and get rewarded with a permanent one. There was also a similar challenge involving the Halloween RPGs. At the start of 2012 there was a video series called Kane's Community Corner, which had a look behind the scenes, developer interviews and even free stuff, including a code that gave out the sauropod dino head, one of the rarest items in the entire game, to one lucky player. In late 2012, there was an update which allowed players to buy certain weapons and clothes permanently with VP, the free currency in the game obviously, ranging from 3k to 10k, which was honestly a pretty generous addition which I think was pretty underrated and kind of forgotten about, and I remember buying 2 main shotguns for my new National Gunner around this time as well. There were various contests held across the forums and in-game where you could win various prizes, including almost any item of your choice in some cases. The contests included video projects, spotting a developer in-game, or making a forum signature for a developer, as well as the annual Secret Santa event, which I actually won in 2014 with a video project, and I got some items that weren't normally available in the store, so that was pretty cool. There was a promotion where 45 special players were selected to receive free Bronto heads, known as the Bronto 45. This was a pretty exclusive and rare item, and it was later sold for over 60,000 funds, making it one of the most expensive items in the game's history. So if someone was lucky enough to get that for free, I'm pretty sure they were happy with it. In December 2012, we got the Daily Claw, which was easily one of the most generous parts to the game. It was essentially a free spin each day, which allowed you to win permanent items, weapons and emotes, and you could even buy more attempts with VP if you needed to. On release, you could actually attempt the claw every 8 hours, but even with the 24-hour change, it was still really useful, and a lot of people liked it. We got the War Room, also known as the metagame, in 2013, which rewarded players for contributing to their team and capturing different points on the board. Some of the rewards included VP, treasure chest keys, and exclusive medals for each season, but sadly those medals weren't evenly distributed because Nationals were winning most of the time, mostly because of the fact that most players were Nationals. The last weapons to be released in the game were the Snow RPGs in December 2014, which could only be purchased with VP, and these weapons weren't exactly amazing, but it was still a shock that even at that late stage of the game, one, that we were getting new weapons, but also two, they were essentially free to everyone. I know I mentioned codes earlier in the video, but in 2015 we got the best ever fund code, which was given out shortly after they announced the game would be closing. Obviously, it made sense to be a generous fund code given the circumstances and what was going on, but I think the developers should have just given everyone all the items at that point instead. They had like nothing to lose basically, and I know I've said it a lot over the years, but I stand by it. They also did a few developer streams with codes and rewards in the chat, including the unicorn emote, which was developer only, and I was actually able to get one for my national gunner back then, which was pretty nice. A few more miscellaneous ones. There was a player called Master K who was given 1 million battle funds for making the 1 millionth purchase on an item. So, yeah, very lucky, and he would have been able to buy basically everything in the game if he'd stuck around. I think the battle funds translated to like 6 million funds or something like that, play for free funds. So, yeah, but to my knowledge, he wasn't really around for too long. You could use referral links to get rewards for both you and the person who joined from that link, including XP boosts and VP. And it was pretty common to see people, posting that link everywhere pretty much, or if they had like a video on the game, they'd put that in the description, for example. I think I did the same. Just a few more random points, but I also think it's good the game never had like any DLC for new maps or game modes. Those were always free to everyone, even though I know that might be a weird one to some of you, but a few games do get like paid map packs and stuff, obviously, and different DLC including that. Also, there were a lot of paid weapons which weren't really that useful, and some of them didn't even work properly and were pretty gimmicky, like the homing guns, anti-plane RPGs and stuff like that. So it's not as if they were releasing a new overpowered weapon in each update that broke the game completely. And yeah, like basically a lot of the paid stuff, especially near the end of the game, here and there, was pretty kind of worthless, I suppose, and wasn't really necessary. Overall, while you can't really deny that BFH was pay to win, I still think the developers were generous at times and during certain years and through different methods that I've tried to explain here, and you could definitely play it and compete without spending much or at all. So yeah, guys, that was it for my video on BFH being free to play. Hopefully you found it interesting. I should have another video out basically in a few weeks, which I'm looking forward to making, so stay tuned for that. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.